Ever since Activision acquired Blizzard, we have seen an increase in cockiness by them. Developers going on social media, trash-talking content creators they simply don't like. Developers basically saying, be grateful we create any content for the games you like, and we saw a massive boycott in 2019 with the Blitzchung situation. And after that, even though there were protests at BlizzCon and for weeks Blizzard was the hottest topic in the gaming industry because of how crappy they acted towards Blitzchung, people still came back to their games, and it's like their terrible behavior doubled and even tripled because they weren't completely canceled. They felt like they could do anything and get away with it, but people are fed up with Blizzard. They're developers, and now we're seeing a giant exodus of World of Warcraft players head to other games like Final Fantasy XIV, and this definitely spells trouble for Blizzard. They're a company that acts like they can't be canceled, like they are better than everyone else in the industry, and apparently they are setting record low numbers for World of Warcraft. But before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted, and if you really like the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. Now, the first article that I'm going to reference is from .esports. I do have a couple of articles I want to read. It says, record low number of World of Warcraft guilds clear Sanctum of Domination raid ahead of Mythic Race to World's First. I used to play World of Warcraft. I don't really anymore. I don't want to give Blizzard a monthly subscription fee. I really don't like what they've been doing with World of Warcraft. I feel like they've just gotten kind of lazy. Yes, Shadowlands did bring new content to the game, and some of it was decent. I did play most of Shadowlands, but I feel like that edge for World of Warcraft really isn't there anymore. There are so many new MMOs coming out, and while World of Warcraft has kind of been the king in the MMO genre for a very long time, I kind of feel like that's about to change. So it says World of Warcraft's Mythic raiding community is gearing up for what could be the hardest Race to World First event the game has seen in recent memory. It says the Sanctum of Domination raid, which is set to release later today, saw a record low number of clears prior to today's release of Mythic difficulty. Just 74 guilds, according to WoW stats site Raider.io, managed to take down Sylvanas on heroic difficulty during the initial release of the raid, a number that could spell a relatively lengthy race to the finish line for Mythic raiders. So it says players are traditionally given a week to get accustomed to a new raid on heroic difficulty, and last December, when the Castle Nathria race took place, 98 guilds managed to take down the raid's final boss, and it says that number was already considered to be abnormally low, considering over 600 guilds cleared Ny'alotha on heroic difficulty before the final mythic race of World of Warcraft's last expansion, Battle for Azeroth. So it went from 98, which was already considered to be low, to just 74. Clearly there is something going on. Players are either leaving the game, they're just not interested in the current raid, they're just not interested in the new content in World of Warcraft. And a few days ago, I talked about a Blizzard insider coming forward, supposedly telling everyone how developers were acting behind the scenes, how they were furious people were leaving World of Warcraft, how they think that gamers are stuck-up brats, and apparently it's only made World of Warcraft players even more furious because of how drastically Final Fantasy XIV's player count has been going up, and we can assume World of Warcraft's numbers have been going down. I wanted to read this Den of Geek article. Why Final Fantasy XIV is stealing so many WoW players. I do think that a lot of people still love World of Warcraft. Do I think that this game is going to die overnight? No. But I definitely think that there are a lot of things that are stacked up against Blizzard and World of Warcraft right now. A lot of people just aren't interested in the content releasing in World of Warcraft. A lot of people do not like how the developers are treating their favorite content creators, how the developers are treating gamers in general. I just think that there's a lot against Blizzard right now. But it says over the 4th of July weekend, weekend, Final Fantasy XIV broke its concurrent players record on Steam, and that record-setting weekend comes on the heels of a report that suggests that Final Fantasy XIV may have more active subscribers than the apparent king of the MMORPG genre. It says you can call it an anomaly, but it's more than that. Again, I don't think that World of Warcraft is completely dead right now, but I definitely think we're seeing a shift in players' mentality. A lot of people are just like, I'm kind of done with World of Warcraft, and it's inevitable. Eventually, after World of Warcraft has reigned in that genre for so long, people are going to leave the game. People are eventually going to get bored of it, going to want to try something new, and maybe these players will end up coming back. I doubt everyone that's gone to Final Fantasy XIV has fully quit WoW, but we are seeing a little bit of like a boycott going on. It says this obviously is not the biggest factor in play, but it's very much so worth noting that Final Fantasy XIV's recent record weekend on Steam happened to be in the middle of the Steam Summer Sale, and it says Asmongold and the streamer influence. The weekend that Final Fantasy XIV broke its concurrent player record is the same weekend that Asmongold played Final Fantasy XIV for the first time to an audience of over 200,000 concurrent viewers. Asmongold definitely has a big influence in the MMO community and also in the World of Warcraft community. And while there are a lot of people who do not like him, there are people that are going to follow him to whatever game he goes to. And if he says, I'm taking a break from streaming World of Warcraft because the developers are shit-talking me and I'm bored of the game, a lot of those people are going to follow him. Imagine just like a quarter of his viewers leaving World of Warcraft for even just a couple of weeks, or even, you know, a fifth or sixth of those players. I mean, that's going to be a massive number. Just a few weeks ago, we heard about a Blizzard developer attacking Asmongold, trash-talking him on social media, so I'm sure that's a big reason why he decided to take a break from the game on stream, play something new, play something exciting. It says the wait for WoW's Shadowlands 9.1 update. While the wait for Shadowlands 9.1 update and the new content it includes hasn't been especially long in the grand scheme of things, it has felt long for a dedicated group of WoW players who have been left with little to do in the game. World of Warcraft is always struggling with that. Yeah, they release new content, but people go through it relatively quickly. Unless you're constantly updating this game, of course people are gonna go and play something else while they're waiting for the newest update to release. Now, there's just a lot of different reasons why WoW players might go and try something like Final Fantasy XIV, and we are also seeing releases of new games, Ashes of Creation. We are also seeing Amazon's MMO New World, the final beta releases soon, and then the full game launches in August. There's just a lot of different alternatives right now, and I'm not saying they're all going to be amazing, but there are just a lot of options right now. And I wanted to head over to this Forbes article that says Final Fantasy XIV is breaking its player count records day after day. Final Fantasy XIV is having what you'd call to be a bit of a moment. The MMO, long thought as one of the gold standards of fixing your broken release, has risen to become a massively popular game over the last few years, but for a variety of reasons, the game is currently surging like never before. Back on July 5th, it was reported that Final Fantasy XIV has broken its previous concurrent player count records on Steam of 41,000 players set in June 2019, with 47,000 players, and then, most notably, this past weekend broke the record again in consecutive days, with 52,000 and then 58,000 players. I'm glad that this game is getting a lot of attention. A lot of people have loved it for a long time. I've personally tried it. I don't actively play it. I just think that this game offers people something new, something exciting, and I'm sure a lot of WoW players are going to return to the game, but I also wanted to read through this thread by Mark Kern. He was the team lead of original World of Warcraft, and he was kind of talking about the insider leaks, and I think that seeing his opinion is very interesting. He said, how did we get here? A couple of things happened in AAA development that led up to this point. The biggest thing is the money. Once AAA gaming got bigger than all media, you start to attract a lot of executives who are in it for the immense profit versus the love of making games. This change starts at the top and is made worse by game companies going public. This starts to flow down to middle management who are starting to make serious cash. The why of a company changes. Instead of going for games they would love to play and identifying as gamers themselves, there is now a sense of other. We made the games, they pay for them. Unfortunately, this is the mentality in the gaming industry now. It says OG Blizzard culture used to be we are gamers right down to the receptionist, and we make games for ourselves because we are gamers, and that is gone now. And as devs at many AAA studios are distinctly us versus them, the whiny entitled gamers. It is unfortunate that the people who want us to buy their games attack us constantly. It's a big reason why I do not support Blizzard anymore. Their games just, I don't know, have been kind of mediocre lately. We also have the whole Blitzchung situation. I mean, there are reasons upon reasons as to why you shouldn't support Blizzard. It says this was not helped by the increase in personal attacks on devs by gamers themselves. Gamers are passionate, and unfortunately, this sometimes moves beyond criticizing the game to personal attacks and some really unsavory and threatening behaviors. Of course, this shouldn't be the case. People shouldn't attack developers because they didn't create a game in a specific way, or they didn't do something in a game. It says, let's get back to the money. Once games were obviously money makers and everyone started to play them, and a cool rep, you start to attract a different type of developer. The first wave did it for free, made very little money, very little success, just to make dreams happen. But once games were viewed as a stable and more glamour career choice with good pay, you started to attract the types of professionals who are very good at their job, but definitely what I call the 9-to-5ers. They treat it not as a passion, but as a routine job. Basically, everything that Mark Kern says here is true. He talks about the industry, AAA developers, and I genuinely think that this is why indie developers are so highly regarded, because while yes, some of them are in it for the money and just want to be famous and popular and rich, a lot of them are in it sheerly because they're passionate about gaming and the industry. This is why we need to protect indie developers and protect good companies. This is why I always try to speak out when, companies do something that I view as good, because there's always going to be people attacking them, and unfortunately Blizzard just isn't a company that deserves a lot of defense right now. They just have been so bad over the past couple of years, and it sucks. Blizzard was always praised and loved because they were a company filled with gamers and people passionate about the industry. They made some amazing games, and now they're this, a company who hates gamers and the people promoting their games. But that's all that I really had to talk about in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.